The White House has said that the US takes allegations against Nikhil Gupta, quote-unquote, very seriously. The US Department of Justice has accused Gupta of plotting to kill an Indian-origin US citizen. While the Justice Department has not named the citizens, reports say it is Gurpatwant Singh Pannu, who India identifies as a Khalistani terrorist. Meanwhile, India has expressed concerns about its government official being linked to the plot and has initiated an investigation. North Korean leader Kim Jong-Un has called for the military's readiness to respond to any provocation by enemies. Kim's comments came after he and his daughter visited the Air Force headquarters yesterday. This was during the country's Airman Day. Local media said that Kim also rolled out operational guidelines to improve the military's readiness and war capabilities. China's defense ministry has rejected claims by the Philippines. This is regarding Chinese fighter jets interrupting its patrols. Earlier, Manila said that Chinese fighter jets were seen orbiting a Philippine aircraft. This was during its patrols with Australia in the South China Sea. China has called the Philippines' claims as quote-unquote sheer malicious hype. Japan is concerned that the US military is continuing to fly Osprey aircraft. This is despite Tokyo's request to ground them. Japan says it had sought suspension of all non-emergency Osprey flights over its territory. This was after one of them fell into the sea in western Japan earlier this week. However, the Pentagon has said that it was not aware of any official request for their grounding. Two people were killed and 10 were wounded following overnight Russian missile attacks in Ukraine's eastern Donetsk region. This is according to Ukraine officials. Officials added that a family of 3 were believed to be still trapped under rubble. Ukrainian Interior Minister said that Russia fired 6 missiles at 3 settlements in the region. Russia's Supreme Court has ruled that LGBTQ activists should be designated as extremists. The court has banned all activities by the activists. Activists fear that the ruling will lead to their arrest and prosecution. Earlier, Russia had also banned the promotion of non-traditional sexual relations and the legal or medical changes of gender and sex. A New York court has reinstated a gag order of former US President Donald Trump. This bars Trump and his lawyers from making public statements about court staff in an ongoing civil fraud trial case. Trump risks facing steep penalties if he violates the order. Martin Fayulu, the presidential hopeful in the upcoming general elections in the Democratic Republic of Congo, visited the eastern part of the country yesterday. During his visit, he pledged zero tolerance on corruption to his supporters. The Democratic Republic of Congo will hold the elections on 20th of December. Tensions are high in Africa's second largest country ahead of the elections. This comes as Congo also struggles to contain a myriad of armed groups in the country. A new media report has shed light on grave incidents of rape and torture during the war in Sudan. The women interviewed for the report said they were sexually assaulted by members of the Rapid Support Forces. One of them said that she was abducted and assaulted by 4 men over 3 days. The assaults took place during weeks of attacks in El Geneina, that's capital of Sudan's West Darfur region. Earlier this year, a war broke out between the Sudanese armed forces and the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces that killed thousands of people. Moving on to the Israel-Hamas war, a temporary truce between Israel and Hamas expired this morning. So far, neither side has announced a deal to extend it. In the hour before the truce was set to end, Israel said it intercepted a rocket fired from Gaza. Following this, Israel's military said that it resumed combat against Hamas. The army accused Hamas of violating the terms of the truce and firing towards Israeli territory. Fresh clashes broke out between Palestinians gathered in the West Bank town of Betunia to welcome prisoners released by Israel. Israeli security forces fired tear gas and rubber bullets to disperse the crowd. Israel has said it will not allow festivities for the released prisoners. Meanwhile, Palestinian youth set up fires and some threw stones at the Israeli security forces. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu reiterated that he had sworn to eradicate Hamas. His comments came after Hamas said they were behind a deadly shooting attack in Jerusalem. Two Hamas terrorists opened fire at a bus stop yesterday and they killed at least 3 people, wounding 8 others. US State Secretary Antony Blinken has asked Netanyahu to protect civilians in Gaza. That is before Israel resumes its operations in Gaza. Blinken said this during a presser in Tel Aviv. During his third visit to the West Asian country, Blinken also met with Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant and opposition leader Yair Lapid. He also traveled to the Palestinian city of Ramallah, where he met with Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi landed in Dubai yesterday to attend the COP28 summit. He will be in the city for 21 hours. Prime Minister Modi is scheduled to deliver 4 speeches and attend 7 bilateral meetings. During his stay, he will also be a part of 2 special initiatives on climate events. On the first day of the UN COP28 Climate Summit, the countries formally approved a deal on a new climate disaster fund. The agreement was crafted by representatives from developed and developing nations. It aims to launch a fund assisting vulnerable countries in dealing with climate-driven damage. The US climate envoy revealed that the United States will contribute $17.5 million to the funds to help countries respond to climate impacts. The president of the COP28 Climate Summit, Sultan Al Jaber, has denied reports that the UAE is using the meeting to make oil and gas deals. Al Jaber dismissed the allegations during a press conference, stating that they are false and incorrect. He said the report aimed to undermine his COP28 presidency. A few leaked documents had suggested plans by the UAE to discuss fossil fuel deals with 15 nations during the summit. Over 400 oil and gas projects were approved globally in the last 2 years, despite calls to halt new hydrocarbon development. According to a latest report, nearly 200 entities across 58 countries were involved in these projects. This starkly highlights the disparity between the ongoing fossil fuel exploitation and the urgent need to phase out oil, gas, and coal. The World Health Organization, or WHO, warns that climate change is exacerbating the fight against malaria. Changes in temperature, humidity, and rainfall impact the behavior and survival of disease-carrying mosquitoes. Extreme weather events such as heat waves and flooding further contribute to increased malaria cases. The WHO emphasizes the need for substantial and resilient malaria responses. More than 2 million people in the Horn of Africa have been displaced by torrential rains and floods. This is according to the data by the government and the UN. The region includes Somalia, Kenya, and Ethiopia. Over 300 lives were claimed by the disastrous floods. The Horn of Africa is highly vulnerable to climate change despite contributing minimally to global carbon emissions. On to business and tech news now. The group of oil-producing nations known as OPEC Plus agreed to cut supply starting next year. OPEC Plus will cut supply by nearly 2 million barrels a day. The decision came during a virtual meeting amid concerns that the market faces a potential surplus. Oil prices fell after rising by more than 1% yesterday. Eurozone inflation fell far more than expected in the month of November. Consumer prices dropped to 2.4% in the region. This was below analysts' forecast. They expected inflation to settle at 2.7% this month. That has raised investor bets that the ECB will cut interest rates early next year. Tesla CEO Elon Musk has introduced the long-delayed Cybertruck. The electric vehicle maker made the first deliveries of the electric pickup trucks to customers. However, the talk revolves much around the vehicle's pricing. The low-cost model starts at roughly $61,000. This is over 50% higher than the price Elon Musk had touted in 2019. China Evergrande has made a last-minute effort to fight off the threat to imminent liquidation. The embattled property firm has reportedly put forward a new debt restructuring proposal. However, reports added that creditors were unlikely to accept Evergrande's new pitch. That is likely due to low recovery prospects and growing concerns at the firm. The company has more than $300 billion in liabilities. It has emerged to become the poster child of China's property sector crisis. A Chinese audit firm and affiliates of PricewaterhouseCoopers in Hong Kong and China have agreed to pay a fine of $8 million. This is for failures related to audits of US-listed Chinese companies. The penalties come over a year after Beijing and Washington struck a landmark deal. The deal allowed US regulators to inspect the books of Chinese companies listed in New York. Canada's second largest financial firm, TD Bank, is axing 3% of its workforce. This will affect more than 3,000 jobs at the firm. The announcement came after the firm missed their quarterly profit estimates. TD joins Royal Bank of Canada and Bank of Nova Scotia in announcing mass layoffs. Crisis hit Scandinavian airline SAS continued to struggle in the August to October period. The carrier posted a loss of $204 million. The airline is currently under bankruptcy protection. It aims for a US court to approve its restructuring plan early next year. In October, the airline said that Air France-KLM and US investment firm Castlelake would become the firm's new main owners. A former program manager at space company Blue Origin has filed a lawsuit against the company. This is allegedly for wrongful termination. Craig Stoker has accused the company of whistleblower retaliation after he spoke up about safety issues. Stoker was terminated on the 7th of October. This was 7 months after he raised his first safety concern at Blue Origin. Google has reportedly called on Britain's antitrust regulator to take action against Microsoft. This is over its dominance in the UK cloud market. Google has claimed that Microsoft's business practices had left rivals at a significant disadvantage. In October, Britain's Competition and Markets Authority launched an investigation into the UK's cloud computing industry. This was after a referral from the media regulator Ofcom. It highlighted Amazon and Microsoft's dominance in the market. A US judge has blocked Montana's first of its kind state ban on video app TikTok. The court said that the ban violates the free speech rights of users. In May, Montana became the first US state to ban TikTok. The ban was supposed to take effect from the 1st of January 2024. Following this, TikTok's owner ByteDance and users of the app sued Montana, seeking a reversal of the ban. On to the latest from the world of sports. We begin with cricket. India and Australia are set for another T20 international face-off. India will look to seal the series 3-1 in Raipur, which is hosting its first T20 international match. Australia will be missing the likes of Glenn Maxwell and Josh Inglis. And Team India have a big boost as Shreyas Iyer returns to the T20 format. The Board of Control for Cricket in India, or the BCCI, has announced India's T20 international squad for the South Africa tour. Rohit Sharma will not lead the men in blue in the T20 format. Surya Kumar Yadav will continue for the time being as the skipper. Ravindra Jadeja has been recalled as vice captain for the Proteas tour. India's tour of South Africa will begin on the 10th of December with the T20 international series, followed by 3 ODIs and 2 test matches. KL Rahul will be leading India's ODI squad in South Africa. The selectors have made multiple changes to the ODI squad. Shubman Gill, Ishan Kishan and Surya Kumar Yadav have also been rested. Ruturaj Gaikwad, Sai Sudarshan, Rajat Patidar, Tilak Verma, Rinku Singh and Sanju Samson have all made the cut. In the bowling department, Arshdeep Singh, Mukesh Kumar, Yuzvendra Chahal and Deepak Chahar have been included. And Jasprit Bumrah, Mohammad Siraj and Mohammad Shami have been rested. The government of Dominica says it will not host any matches during the 2024 Men's T20 World Cup. They say the decision comes due to the country's inability to complete work on practice and match venues before the tournament commences. Dominica was one of the 7 countries in the Caribbean shortlisted to host the T20 World Cup, which will be co-hosted by the West Indies and the United States from the 4th of June to 30th of June next year. On to football now. Football star Cristiano Ronaldo faces a class action lawsuit seeking at least $1 billion in damages for his role in promoting cryptocurrency-related NFTs issued by Binance. The lawsuit alleges that Ronaldo's promotion of Binance was deceptive and unlawful. Ronaldo launched his inaugural NFT CR7 collection with Binance in November of last year ahead of the 2022 FIFA World Cup. Liverpool fire into Europa League final 16 as they beat Lask 4-0. Liverpool sealed the top spot in Group E with a double goal from Cody Gakpo and goals from Luis Diaz and Mohamed Salah at Anfield. Salah scored his 199th goal for the Reds. Fans of Polish side Legia Warsaw were barred entry to their match at Aston Villa after clashes with police outside the stadium with flares thrown at officers. 3 police officers were injured in the clash. No Legia fans were allowed into Villa Park for the game at Villa won 2-1. Legia Warsaw said Aston Villa had given the Polish club a lower allocation of tickets than they were entitled to under UEFA regulations. Lion coach Gabio Grosso has been replaced by academy coach Pierre Sage as the struggling League One club said it had begun proceedings to dismiss the 2006 World Cup winner. Former Italy international Grosso oversaw just 1 win in 7 matches since taking over as coach in September, which left Lions 3 points adrift at the foot of the table. NBA greatest LeBron James' manager and business partner Maverick Carter has reportedly told federal investigators that in 2021 he had bet on NBA games through an illegal bookmaker. The Washington Post report cites federal law enforcement documents and said that Carter told agents he could not remember placing any bets on the Lakers. Carter's admission came in a November 2021 interview with agents investigating bookie Wayne Knicks. Tiger Woods struggled late to fire a 3-over par 75 in the opening round of the Hero World Challenge, his first competitive round since the Masters last April. The 15-time major winner followed birdies with bogeys 3 times in the first 12 holes at Albany Golf Club in the Bahamas before he closed with a double bogey at number 15, bogeys at number 16 and 17 and a par at the 18th hole. In entertainment, singer Taylor Swift attended Beyoncé's Renaissance concert film premiere in London. Their camaraderie was evident as Swift praised Beyoncé for her achievements. Swift also shared a video of the two from her Eras Tour concert film premiere. Beyoncé and Taylor Swift, 2 of today's biggest artists, have shown mutual support amid their busy years. Singer Ari Lennox stopped her concert when someone threw a water bottle at her. The bottle hit her arm and Lennox refused to be a victim of this trend. She demanded to know who the perpetrator was. The pressure singer stood her ground and said no one should ever disrespect, quote-unquote, a beautiful black woman on stage. Lennox is one of the many singers whose concerts were disrupted by people who threw objects at the stage. A jury has been selected for actor Jonathan Majors' assault trial. It is a 6-member jury including 3 men and 3 women along with 2 alternates. The opening statements are scheduled for Monday. trial will reportedly last 2 weeks before deliberations begin. The charges stem from a March incident where Majors allegedly assaulted his ex-girlfriend Grace Jabari physically during a drive to his apartment. Disney CEO Bob Iger vows to revive Marvel's creative quality after recent box office setbacks. In a summit, Iger emphasized the need to prioritize quality storytelling over quantity. He admitted Disney's shift towards too many film continuations without compelling reasons had diluted the cinematic experience for audiences. The trailer of the upcoming Warner Brothers film Furiosa released on Friday. It debuted at Brazil's CCXP Comic-Con event. Director George Miller returns with the film as the prequel to 2015's Mad Max Fury Road. The trailer shows Anya Taylor-Joy as Imperator Furiosa. This film explores Furiosa's origin story as she navigates through a sinister world. Actor Meg Ryan defended her son Jake Quaid against being labelled a quote-unquote nepo baby. In an interview, she highlighted about her son's talent and work ethics. Ryan said that the term is disrespectful of his abilities and sensitivity to privilege. Jack Quaid faced such scrutiny along with other celebrity children in a New York Magazine story last year, exploring the trend of celebrity children entering the entertainment industry. Singer Kelly Clarkson has achieved legal victories in her battle against ex-husband Brandon Blackstock. A California labor commissioner ruled that Blackstock crossed the line by overcharging Clarkson for gigs booked on her behalf. As her manager, Blackstock must return over $2.6 million to Clarkson. The dispute began in 2020 when Clarkson accused Blackstock of fraudulent managerial practices. The organizers of the Oscar Awards announced on Thursday that the broadcast timing of the show has been changed. The show will start tonight at midnight, departing from the usual early evening timing. A 30-minute pre-show will precede the live broadcast from the Dolby Theatre in Hollywood's Los Angeles. The Oscars is scheduled to take place on the 10th of March next year. Filmmaker Tim Burton announced on Instagram that his film Beetlejuice 2 has concluded filming. Production on the long-awaited sequel has shut down over the summer with around 2 days left of filming due to the Hollywood actors' strike. Beetlejuice 2 is the sequel to Burton's beloved 1988 cult classic. And finally, singer Lenny Kravitz has expressed feeling overlooked by black publications and media organizations. In an interview, he cited a lack of recognition from outlets and award shows dedicated to celebrating black artists like him. Despite Kravitz's significant contributions and 6 studio albums by 2001, he mentioned not being invited to events. The singer questioned why his success wasn't acknowledged and celebrated by those running such publications or organizations.